podcast. This is him, he, and I want to tell y'all a story. I want to talk about a specific hot topic because I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I ain't even been into the blogs and all the stuff, but I do want to get on this Joe Budden podcast situation. If you're a Joe Budden podcast fan, you have seen that within the last couple of days, there was an instance where Melyssa Ford actually walked off the show. And I want to talk about the Joe Budden podcast in a sense to where basically I think they're falling off. Me being a long time listener, I actually had to stop listening because it's just like, dang, man, I've been listening to this podcast so long and it takes up so much of my time that I got to give it a break. And it's not the best content. In my opinion, if we're going to be completely honest, we got to start off from where it came, where the new iteration of the podcast came. And we got to be honest, as a Joe Budden fan, as somebody that, has eyes that can see, I'm not too fanned out to see some of the real stuff, you know what I'm saying? Especially being a content creator. Joe definitely screwed Rory and Maul over. And I believe that he's a little power hungry. It's the name of his show is his name. So I believe he made a mistake in not properly compensating them, not as far as money, but as far as the ownership goes, the way that he should have. And some people will say that it was a good business move, and it was, but the pod definitely took a hit. In my opinion, I actually like the new iteration of the podcast better with Ish and Ice, but I think Joe got at a point to where he wasn't setting the market, he wasn't making the market what it was with what he did with Rory and Maul. Once Ish and Ice came, I think they had a good run. I think it was a little bit more mature. And I think that to not, get left behind, he started piggybacking off of things that other up and coming podcasts were doing. Matt Hoffa, for instance, he has the podcast where it's about 5, 6 people. So Joe, he took a page out of Matt Hoffa's book. I do not believe that was the best option in terms of quality with the people that he brought on. Melyssa Ford and Queen's Flip. Now, Queen's Flip, I'm not going to lie to you, I think it was a good addition to the podcast, but Joe, I think his ego has gotten in between him incorporating Flip the way that Flip needs to be incorporated. I think it's a big mistake that the Improper Improv show was let go. And I think that has something to do with some contract disputes or, something of that nature. It would have helped the channel more because there's a little bit more different content with the size of the audience that he has. I don't think that Flip serves just the Patreon and regular podcast episodes as a regular podcast would, because he's a little COE. He's content over everything. He's more entertaining. He's more, out there, outgoing. So the Improper Improv show was a good medium for a talent like him. When it comes to Melyssa Ford, because you see the title, I think Melyssa Ford does exactly what she is there to do, but I don't think it's really good for the podcast. And I've spoken on this before, but I'll speak on it again. I get Fresh and Fit's thing where they bring the women on the podcast and they're not really good podcasters. They're really there for entertainment, the Frank Castles and all the stuff. But when you're a host on a podcast, when you're a regular co-host on a podcast, I don't believe she's actually a technically good podcaster, because there's too many times where she just won't elaborate. She will refuse to answer questions, and she'll use her womanly privilege to be like, oh, I'm a woman. You just don't understand. And I don't have to explain. You just have to take my word for it. In podcast world, as a podcast fan, as a podcaster, that's BS. That is BS. It's not entertaining. And at a point in time, the fans get tired of it because we want to hear what you have to say. The whole situation where she walked off, that I don't want to get labeled, but I don't really care about being labeled. It's absolutely ridiculous talking about would you rather be in the woods with a bear or a man, and you're saying, oh, I wouldn't want to be in the woods with a man because a man has done this and a man could do this. Bro, I get that there are crappy men out there, but you can't just generalize it to, oh, a man is gonna do worse to me than a freaking predator animal, an apex predator animal, because of my traumas that I can't separate from actual reality. I have to let the women podcasters know. The whole thing where you get asked a question and then you start speaking on just your opinion, your feelings, and you want to base it off of just, oh, well, I feel like this and my trauma says this. So the facts don't matter because it's my trauma and it could be the way that I'm saying it could be. There's a chance, even though it's like a 2% chance, a 10% chance based on facts. Just because my feelings and I'm married to my feelings, we're going to speak on it from a feeling standpoint. Nobody wants to hear that, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Nobody wants to hear that. It gets annoying, and I think at the point it just has watered down the podcast. The like you need a woman perspective and a full perspective from a woman. If Mandy from Horrible Decisions did that on any of her podcasts, people would stop listening because she's the A mic and you have to bring something to the table. You can't just always give a blanket answer to try to maneuver your way out of the topics. It's a podcast, bro. You get paid to talk. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think that he should get rid of her. I think that he should get rid of her, not because she's a woman or any lame stuff like that, but I just don't believe she brings a lot to the table. And you can't, like, it's funny one time when you do it. It's funny in certain instances, certain topics, because of course it's certain stuff that women don't want to touch on and they don't feel comfortable talking about because they know they're going to get bashed in the comments. But there are other perspectives that we need, and you just can't just say these. This isn't a conversation on the streets with a simp where you can just say, oh, I just know and that's what I'm standing on and this that. Bro, we want to hear your reasoning for it. We want you to have an opinion. We don't want you to just say what all the baddies your age would say. Baddies, because I'm not gonna say that. But I believe that Joe needs to rein in the pod a little bit more. They need to refresh their topics. The Patreon. I was floored when I figured out that the $10 Patreon got as much as the $25 Patreon. The crazy thing is one time, I don't know what happened, but I got switched to the $10 Patreon and I didn't even notice any difference. And then I just switched over to the $25 because it's like I surely am missing something. And it just got watered down. Like you don't want to hear the same type of conversation every episode that seems to be something that's going to be juicy because it's behind the paywall. I think Joe's gotten a little comfortable with because it was a time on the Joe Budden podcast for a very long time, and it's my belief that they did have a learning process to go through once they changed the cast, but cutting that out, I'll say it was probably like 6 months to a year. The Joe Budden podcast had been quality for a great amount of time. I'm going to say about 5 to 6 years, 5, 6, 7 years. It has been quality podcasting. And in the last year or so, the quality's dropped tremendously with putting all these new people on the mic that are not necessarily the best podcasters. Flip is entertaining. He's definitely grown, but let's just be real, man. Flip, he done got that boost that he's needed. Flip need to go on and run his stuff because he got stuff going on, and I think he would be better service helping other people. Because I actually like his network. I like the podcast that he does with his kids. I like the little where they have two people sitting back and forth that don't like each other in the black room or something like that. I think he would be better service just doing his own thing because we know Joe. Joe wants the spotlight. Joe wants to be the guy. He wants to be the guy that's gonna, and this is my opinion, I believe he wants to be the guy that's getting all the good clips and all the funny, for the most part, all the funny and interacting highlights, interactive highlights on the show. He'll say he doesn't, but come on, man. And I think that Ish and Ice and Parks are cool with that. I believe that there is some disconnect, and I can agree with Danny from the stop. I think Melyssa Ford has definitely just been using the podcast as a boost to try to get her name out there and become a mainstay to where she can use that to piggyback on her acting career. And it's nothing wrong with that, but you got to give more effort. You have to give more effort, and I don't think that's what she's been giving us. As we go on to before we get into our story, I want to talk about a relationship topic that a lot of men, it's weird. I just don't understand it. A lot of men seem to want a baddie per se, a woman, a 10, a woman that looks great, a woman that physically is attractive to all men so that you can have one of those women that all men want. And I speak on relationships because I'm in a successful relationship, and we have a great, beautiful family. They're downstairs right now. Shout out to T for letting me step away, to go live. And I believe I love my girl. I love the way she looks. We got a baby, so we ain't got no problem in there. I just don't understand why what you're doing personally, what you're gonna build to create the family that you want to have, has to be approved by another guy. I mean, I understand that guys are physical. You want something nice to look at and be with, and my girlfriend's beautiful, so I'm not saying get out here and get somebody to look like a foot, but wanting to have a woman that everybody wants, I'm just going to be real with you. It's chances that everybody's had her. A lot of people have had her. She's used that attractiveness, that banging body, that baddie level of things that y'all talk about, all that BBL stuff that really look crazy, but we ain't gonna get into that. It's not gonna be what you want it to be. And yeah, what I'm basically saying is if you want a 10 out here because you want other dudes to want your girl and you want to be looked at as the guy for having a hot woman, yeah, if you're a business guy, it could help you get in the rooms because that's what guys like. But at the same time, bro, you need a helpmate. You need someone with skills. You need someone that knows how to be a good partner, that knows how to be a good mother. The way that a woman looks is not gonna, like a lot of y'all will think, and y'all won't say this out loud, but a lot of y'all will think, oh, just because she's pretty and primped up and always looking good, you're gonna automatically think she's a good person. She's, that she's sweet, and that can't be anything from the truth because if you're good looking, if you have all of those things that make all of the simps flock to you, you don't have to be nice. You don't have to be respectful. You don't have to know how to do anything. You don't have to have any skills that's going to get you a good paying job so you can pitch in on these high ass bills in this crazy ass economy. I know, not a real man, you niggas is broke and y'all don't know how to do math because the way that these prices be looking, and we live in a very affordable state compared to everybody else. But the way that these prices is, you're crazy. You are crazy. You know what I'm saying? Unless you are rich, she need to be working. She still need to be working if you rich because, again, like I always say, I don't know what you about to be doing all day. But bro, I think dudes they look at relationships from a standpoint of I want other guys to look at me as a real man because I can have a woman that looks like this rather than you can be looked at as a real man because you got your stuff in order and your girl is right there with you and sticking by you and y'all are moving as a unit. The thing is, bro, you can't put a freaking map like I'm gonna get she's gonna look like this and oh she's an Instagram model so now this equals a great family, a successful family. That's not how it works. You actually have to do some thinking. You have to do some vetting when it comes to these women. You have to see how she acts around your friends, your family. You have to assess all these things. It's called work. It's called courtship. You know what I'm saying? You can't simp your way into making a woman submit to you. You can't simp your way into making a woman respect you. And that's what a lot of y'all are doing. A lot of y'all, you see a woman, you see how she looks. Now you're going to simp out, you're going to trick up, and you're going to have to keep that up. And then when she don't give you no respect because there is no respect to give because you've not even gotten her the way that real ones grab them. She already sees what you on because she effing on a dude that ain't got nothing going on, but he just has the personality to get her. You think that you have this checklist that you have to meet, and then other guys are gonna like her, and you think you're gonna be cool. Meanwhile, she probably gonna cheat on you. She probably don't take you serious, and you wonder why. You're like, oh, you're supposed to do this. I did all of this for you, so now you're supposed to do this. Oh, I spent this much money on a date, and now you're supposed to come into the room with me. You're an idiot. You're an idiot, and I'm trying to work on my delivery. You are tripping. You are tripping, and you are mistaken, my brother. You have to know how to talk. You have to know how to use discernment, bro. They talking about you need to the first date you need to take a bite of his food to assert dominance. You need to leave them women alone. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you from experience. That's not what you need in life. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't never wiped nothing up like that. I ain't got time for it. You know what I'm saying? You wanting these baddies and you being hypnotized by these BBLs, brother, you got to put your phone down. You got to put your phone down. Go out in the real world. How about you work on yourself first? Work on yourself. Get you a respectable job and see who there. See who there. You might probably find something that's your speed right where you're working. Or, like, you could be smart like me. Make sure when you get your first love, say the first one that you see. I'm talking about from a young age because the age ranges from the people that watch this. Say you about 15, 16. If you got something, you might as well just stay with it. I ain't gonna lie to you. The small town that I live in, there are several couples that have been together since high school, known each other for a long amount of time. And I ain't gonna lie to you, we are doing better than most people out there. Why? Because we're a team. We work together. We don't let social media dictate what we're doing in life. We don't let what broke single people that are failures in male and female relationships, we don't let them tell us what is wrong and right with what we got going on. I don't care what y'all have to say about 50-50. I don't care what y'all have to say about gender roles, none of that goofy stuff that don't really mean nothing if you in a real life relationship with somebody that you actually care about, bro. You have to, like, fam, you can't skip steps when it comes to this relationship stuff. You can't make a woman that's not meant to be your wife or your partner. You can't make them that. You have to go out there and find you a good one. And if you believe that you need multiple ones, you're probably not going to be able to have a good one because she's gonna be giving time to the man that sees her value. You know what I'm saying? So that is just my opinion from a successful relationship standpoint. Shout out to who's ever in the live. I usually don't never have somebody staying alive the whole time, but I want to get into some story time. I've spoken about it a little bit, but I wanted to bring it to YouTube because in the couple months that I stopped smoking, bro, I can't tell you how mad I am about myself with how I didn't stop earlier because all of the signs were there that it was gonna be way better with stopping. I'm just gonna give you my perspective, and I don't care what people do. You can do what you want to do. Some people may be high functioning people that smoke reefer. That's just not. I mean, I'm high functioning, but that's not what I need to be doing to get to where I want to be. I'm not trying to make nobody do nothing. I don't care if anybody do nothing, but I know that the situation and the mindset that I had, a lot of people have, because I've heard people that smoke always say, "Oh, I'm gonna stop smoking. I'm gonna stop smoking," and they never do it. So I want to tell you from a perspective of somebody that actually did. So I did not, like most people, I didn't grow up smoking. I smoked for the first time in 10th grade. The first time, I don't think I inhaled, so nothing happened. The second time, I um I got hired up. I got hired up and I went home and played cards with my dad. I was twirling him the whole time. And it was so funny because it's like he used to think that he used to know everything. And it's like this dude don't know that I'm high. It was just so funny and I twirled him, but I never really wanted to do anything after that because I was a sheltered child. Like I had a lot of rules when I was growing up. So the first time that I even seen weed, I didn't really know what it was. I remember asking my homeboy, like, what was that green stuff he was rolling up in that brown thing? And he was like, that was reefer, bro. You was tripping. Because I didn't live in the hood. Like, I don't have family in Pittsburgh and I only lived in the hood, quote unquote, because we lived on the outskirts of it. It wasn't the hood at that time, and that was only from like 6 to 9 or something. And I haven't lived in the hood in Pittsburgh as an adult or when I was a teenager. So I just didn't see weed like that. I seen, like, of course the kids was doing it still in the white neighborhoods, but I already knew that my dad wasn't with that, so I wasn't trying to get in trouble because I was on punishment probably like 60% of my childhood life. So I probably would have been on punishment like 100% if I'd have tried to do any of that stuff. The reason I started smoking though was because I was working, and I was just saying, I was working for them boys. I was working for them boys, the night shift, and I it was a lot of stuff going on as far as family, and it was hard for me to get sleep. It was hard for me to get sleep because I had to sleep during the day. So that's what I was really chasing. Like, I need some good sleep, because I remember, because as an adult, I'm about 20 at this point. 20, yeah, like 20, 21. As an adult, I did smoke with my cousin one time, and I just remember, yo, this is the best sleep I done got. So I'm trying to chase some sleep. So I'm smoking. I go through the whole stage of, oh, I'm not handling my money right. I'm spending half the check on weed, being stupid. So I downgraded because I was living in Tampa at this time. I downgraded to smoking mid. You feel me? I still wasn't being right with the money. So I'm going through stuff, like I'm living with a family member and his wife. And it's not like they was older. We was around the same age, but they doing domestic violence and stuff. You know what I'm saying? He's selling crack. You feel me? The man is wanted. It's just a lot of stuff going on. So I'm smoking, and I'm really trying to figure out a way to get up out of here. I become homeless in the time frame. So I have a lot of excuses. I have a lot of excuses on why I just kept smoking and didn't quit. But then I got to the point where I moved up here and I made it my business to not hang around people that bring a certain energy. And in doing that, like, I'm not hanging out with nobody that's committing no crimes. I'm not hanging out with nobody that is cool with just regular black people stuff, just like disrespecting you, being inconsiderate, all that. I'm not doing that. But now my new excuse was, oh, the jobs that I'm working, they're too stressful, so I have to smoke. So, I'm working at a call center. Man, I'm smoking a lot, like an ounce. I want to say an ounce every 2 weeks, and I know people go say that's not a lot. You don't smoke an ounce every 2 weeks. Most of y'all do not do that, especially now with the prices. You don't do that because you don't have any money. Yes, if you make a lot of money, yes, it might not be a lot, but I'm talking about I'm to the face a halfie. Might get a O for 1 week, you know what I'm saying? Like, but at least a halfie a week. That is a lot of money that's being wasted. And I can estimate, I think that I've been doing this for at least 10, 8, I would say 9 years because I was 20 when I started. And it got to a point when we moved over to this area, it was always in the back of my mind, like, hey bro, you need to quit smoking. You need to stop smoking. Like, if you stop smoking, you could save so much money. You could do all these things with the money that you're using. And then I would see stuff on the internet. I remember particularly seeing DDG talk about how he decided he wasn't going to smoke until he made $1 million. And I seen that and it inspired me, but I still didn't put any action to it because I still had excuses to make. So now we get to a point where I'm working at the call center and I have a breakdown because I have a mental breakdown, a bout with anxiety and depression because I was just working to work and I didn't have an actual plan to what I wanted to do. What am I working towards? Like, am I trying to get a better position at this job? Am I just using this job, to pay the bills until I can find something better? I did not have that mindset. I was still maturing into just like, yo, you just gotta work. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like working, paying bills, smoke. And I think that I got restless because it wasn't like I was saving anything. I didn't want to be a higher up at this place because the higher ups at this call center, they were not happy. And I was just like, yeah, I don't want to do that. I'm already not happy. Why would I want to move up? So I didn't really have a plan. So here we go again. I got a whole nother excuse. I got anxiety, so I gotta smoke to calm down. It gets to a point where I stopped smoking regular weed because it was giving me too much anxiety. It wasn't helping at all. You would think that I would just stop smoking, period, because it's like it's not helping me. But no, I found another way to keep on smoking, and I started smoking Delta 8. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to have to go all the way across town because nobody will come over here because the police don't have nothing to do but arrest people over here, and there's not many people to arrest. So if you're doing something wrong, you gonna stick out like a sore thumb. So I'm having to go all the way across town to get weed and do all this stupid stuff. So now that, oh wow, I can go around the corner to smoke. I can go around the corner to a stove. If I get pulled over, I got a receipt. This is in a bag. You can't do nothing. Okay, we cool now. So it's almost like I really thought this. It's like, why would I need to stop smoking? Like, I have it all set up. What would be the reason to stop now? So it was stupid again because I had this idea when Delta 8 was coming out. They had these pens, and I just knew what was gonna happen. I knew that the pens were just gonna get bigger and bigger, and I had the idea to start a business of making my own pens, even though I don't know how hard or how easy it would have been if I would have been able to do it, but I took no action into it. Why? Because that would have been cutting into my sack money. You know what I'm saying? And lo and behold, If you go out there, if you smoke Delta 8, you can find 7 gram pens, you can find 5 gram pens, you can find 3 gram pens, 2 gram pens. You know what I'm saying? The 1 gram pens is already 40, so just imagine what you can charge for them. And I'm gonna let you know right now, them pens don't work. Them pens them 4 gram pens, 6 gram pens, you're never gonna be able to smoke all of that because the heater that is being used is not meant for Delta 8 distillate. It's meant for the E liquids. So it's never going to be able to just burn consistently the whole time while you're smoking all of that distillate. But nobody cares about that. I even knew that the big pens didn't work. I still was getting them and doing what you do, even though you're not supposed to do it, wrapping them around blunts and stuff, the excess. But, anyways, we're gonna fast forward to a couple years ago. I get this job, this good job that I thought was a good job, and it's a good job because it's good for your resume. But I get this job that was bullshit. Let's just keep it 100. And I don't want to keep talking about and going into detail, but it was some bullshit. So it's bullshit. So now I still can't quit. I still can't quit. I still can't do what's best for me. But it started weighing on me because at this time I'm a dad. And Nyla's starting to talk. She's starting to be bad as hell. She's the terrible twos. Oh, they are terrible. You know what I'm saying? She's starting to just do whatever she want. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, we're going to need more money. We're going to need to be able to do this, that, and the third. Well, I made it possible to where, we can still, I can still, get a little smoke on and, pay for daycare and diapers and all that. But it was to the point where it was like, bro, like, you really not, like, putting nothing away. And, you know, when you don't learn these things, and when you're not taught, proper money management, it's definitely easy to give yourself an excuse why you shouldn't be responsible with your money, even though you're telling yourself that you need to be more responsible. It doesn't really matter if you were prepared or not prepared. You're an adult now. It's your responsibility to make sure your your family is right, correct? So it's weighing on me to a point that I'm actually getting anxiety from just going to smoke, just going to pick something up, because I'm saying in my head, bruh, because I'm really good at math, so I'm already knowing how I'm effing off the money. It's a lot of people, they don't consciously think about these things, but I'm not one of those people. I'm knowing that, you're not being a good steward of your money. You're throwing it down the drain. You know you're gonna quit this job sooner or later. So why not get what you can get so that you can do more of what you want? You know what I'm saying? So, long story short, I don't do that. I don't do it. And it got to a point to where it wasn't like weed had no effect on me. It just was like smoking a cigarette. It was just like something that you just do because you just been doing it, and you can't even justify you doing it other than just because you've been doing it and you have this excuse to say, oh, it makes you calm down and it makes you a nicer person. The thing was, though, with everything that I was going through, having just a stupid job experience, going through certain things with family that I've talked about, just certain goofiness and unnecessary drama with family. And it's like, bro, if like I don't need weed to regulate my emotions. If I can deal with all this stuff and overcome all this stuff and not let it affect me, how I deal with my household or how I deal with people at work, I don't need weed. So when you get a new job, you gotta take a drug test. So I just use that as this is it. I'm not trying to you come up in here being stupid on the drug test, doing stuff that weed smokers do for drug tests. So I'm gonna just become clean. And I actually didn't have to take no drug tests because we trying to we in this good city of Pittsburgh is trying to let underrepresented people have more opportunity at jobs. So I would pass it though, but I didn't have to. But at the same time, like as I stopped, it's just it was in my opinion. I think when you smoke so much, especially to get over things emotionally that you should just be dealing with and just experiencing so you can get over it, I think that it leaves a cloud over you. I think that you don't actually deal with certain things. And I heard someone say this, and I can agree that when you smoke, it solves your problem for, or it doesn't solve it. It pauses the problem for however long that you're high. You might go to sleep. And then once you're done with that, once you want to be an adult and be sober and try to actually go towards the problem, you feel even worse about it. And instead of solving the problem, you just want to numb it even more. And I got to that point where like weed, it didn't help me go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting up all night smoking blunts at a certain point in time, and it's like, what? I'm just thinking to myself, it's like, bro, why do you need to smoke 3 blunts in one sitting? What is that? What sense does that make, bro? This stuff, it might not be the strongest, but it's like 3 blunts. And I'm not talking about, because at a point when I was doing this, I wasn't smoking like blunts. I was smoking leaves because the blunts wasn't big enough to, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, fam, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then when you add it up, just the amount of blunts I was having to buy, it's like, bro, that is ridiculous. So then I switched to dabbing, and that's the same. It's still the same thing. It's like, bro, this shit is ridiculous. So me, if you're in this situation, bro, and if that's the thought that you have in your head, because a lot of people have this thought because they'll talk about it. If you have a thought of quitting smoking, you probably should just stop smoking. Especially if you have dreams of being successful. If you are a black man, you shouldn't be doing everything that all black men do, because what makes you any different? And it's not even just black men. Everybody smokes now. Everybody smokes. It's my belief that there's something in it. It's my belief that there's something in it that makes you not physically addicted to it, but psychologically dependent on it. And if you have a chemical imbalance, it's gonna make it even worse. Why would you do it? I know that people are fighting to keep weed. They don't want weed to turn into like a Big Mac, you know what I'm saying, or like a hamburger. They want to keep its potency and all this stuff. There is no way that there's something that everybody, even more people are going to be consuming, and that they're not gonna put nothing in it. I just don't see it. I just don't see it happening. You see what our food has come to, and I don't want to be a lab rat. When I look at successful people, and when I was reading it's called The Black Box by Mark. Well, his name is Marquette Devon Burton, but you might know him on social media as a Saint in the Center. I casually watch his content at times, and two instances pushed me. I'll actually backtrack and do the first one. I was watching a content creator, and he was doing like a call-in show, and a guy called in, and he was obviously off of more than weed, but that's another thing that people do. We'll try to like, oh, I'm not doing this, so it's not that bad. And bro, if you're psychologically in change or something to think that you need to smoke something, whether or not it's gonna make you physically addicted or an addict to it, it's still something that you probably shouldn't do. It's probably not the best for you. So comparing yourself to somebody that's on pills or like an alcoholic, that doesn't help. But he was obviously off of some type of pill, maybe off of alcohol, some type of alcohol. And the dude was just like, bro, you can't go through life just numbing yourself. If you really want to be successful out here, you need to experience and feel the hardships that you're going through, because there's a reason that you're going through these hardships. Remember, I talked about how I was working at the call center and I had no direction, I had no plan to what I was doing. Well, in working at this job that I didn't have the best experience at, I had a plan to what I wanted to do. And my plan was I just want to get a good job, piggybacking off of this one once it's time to go. And that plan did go through, but when you are in life, you have to. It's like it's not a bad thing to be feeling negative emotions. It's not a bad thing to go through things because everybody goes through things. There is no way to be successful out here and do what you need to do without going through some sort of adversity, especially if you a black man, if you got a family, if you got kids that you're trying to raise out here. I'm telling you from experience, what I'm experiencing now, it's no way that you're gonna be a black man with a family and keep that family together and make sure your family getting what they need to get without going through some type of adversity. Because I believe we are chosen people, and I believe that as a black man, if you take it upon yourself not to do certain things, you're completely unstoppable, and there's nobody that can fuck with you. That's my belief. And when I see certain black men, when they're successful, certain black men that I would say I would want to have a certain success that he has, not his success because that's lame, don't do that. But I would like to be successful, and I'm looking at him to see, okay, how does he do it? None of them smoke, none of them drink, and if they do drink, it's moderately, but none of them do something to alter their mind to numb themselves to the point where they are not actually dealing with what's in front of them in life. You got to be a warrior out here, and in different aspects depending on where you come from, but specifically in your mind in 2024, as just a man, period, a leader, you have to be psychologically fit to handle whatever life is going to throw at you, because most people are not. Most people can't even be truthful to themselves and look themselves in the mirror. And if you want to truly be successful without screwing people over, without taking from other people because you think that you have to do these things, you can't be out here with your mind altered. I'm really thinking about just putting down, because I'm not a drinker, so I would never just be drinking, but I'm thinking about exiting out all the way because, fam, you just gotta be here. You gotta be present. You gotta be just ready for whatever is gonna come to you, because there's people out here that prey on the fact that people check out, that people at a certain time you gonna be on the couch slumped out because you don't use your drug of choice and you just on some vegetable shit. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be people out here that don't do that, and they're gonna use that to their advantage to surpass you, to usurp you, to maybe take what you have and make it their way as if they've created these things. And you can't be mad at them because you're not doing everything you need to do to be successful out here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, bro, if it's in your mind, if it's something, if it's a thought that you can't get out of your head past every time you smoking and you keep thinking about how you need to stop, you should just stop, bro. Don't be like me and wait freaking 3 years while you've had this thought in your mind and keep pushing it back, because those are the things that make you stagnant. Now, thank God I haven't been stagnant, but fam, I could have saved tens of thousands of dollars. Tens of thousands of dollars, and I'm not exaggerating, tens of thousands of dollars over the last 3 years if I would have stopped smoking. I could have left that crappy job way sooner because I would have had chili to, hey man, maybe let me take off a couple months and not do nothing. I still took off a couple months, but it was hell sitting around just dabbing and doing all this goofy stuff, sulking and shit. I sulked for a goddamn month. Thank God I got a job, because I'm still him. But bruh, you can't act like you just this, that, and the third. Your shit don't stink. Yet you still gotta use a mind altering substance, and you think that you're gonna be better than everybody out there. It don't work like that, bro. It's people that understand that you need to be exercising. It's people that have been living this life of not smoking, not drinking, exercising the way they need to. They don't have to take off all this weight. You know what I'm saying? That I have to take off. They don't have to they don't have to put content on the back burner because it's family first and then health, because I got to get my health together to be looking right for the content. So content got to be the third or fourth priority. Content can be their second or third priority because they already in shape. They already have overcome an addiction or a psychological attachment to something. This is just real life, bro. I see it. You know what I'm saying? Content creators that don't do mind altering substance, they're way more ahead of these content creators that do, because they have the mind space and the time taken out from not numbing yourself to really look at this landscape of shit and really take advantage of the opportunities of this content shit. Excuse me. Do not sell yourself short, because I sold myself short, and I could have helped my family more. My family, we could have did more of what we wanted to do. We could be in a better position of things that we want and need, and I just didn't, because I was trying to numb myself from stuff that I can already conquer and accomplish with being sober. Life is not too hard to where you gotta alter your mind. If you're a strong person, because I ain't gonna lie to you, my content is not for the weak. It's not for people. I have one more thing I want to talk about before we get out here. But it's not for people that have an I can't do anything mindset. And what I mean by an I can't do anything mindset is you have a mindset that welcomes defeatism, that welcomes defeat. It welcomes not trying because you're already, quote unquote, behind the 8 ball. The system is already built a way to where somebody like you can't be successful. That's not who I do content for, because I don't want you. It's not okay. It's not okay. Things do have to change in your life. You can't make excuses for things that are out of your control. You can only control what you can control. And if you're over here saying you're not going to do something, you're over here not trying because you think that it's too hard to overcome whatever's in front of you, then you don't really want it. And people like me, I don't want to talk to you because you are going to give me anxiety. You're going to make me want to run out of the room because you're just bringing the energy down because you want to talk about what you can't do. If you believe that, oh, this is happening and the system is this, and so I might as well not even try anyways. I'm not going to be successful. Not everybody is successful. That's your fault, bro. That's your fault. And you subconsciously don't think that you deserve to be successful. It's not that most people won't make it because they can't. It's that most people aren't going to make it because they're not going to try. See, I'll let you know. I'll let you know what's going on with me because I like giving personal examples. I can't stream as much as I want to right now. I can't do content as much as I want to. If you was waiting on this live, you seen that I moved the time about 5 times. And it's just because, bro, I got a new job. I'm working, but I'm still being trained. And I don't want to put too much on my plate because, like I said, family, money, health, content. That's just what it has to be right now. So I have to say I can only do this once a week, and then I can do my little TikToks and shorts and clip it up. But you can't put too much on your plate. But at the same time, you have to have a goal and you have to do everything that you can do. Okay, this I can't do anything mindset. Nobody that wants to be successful wants to be around somebody that says these things. Nobody that is out here getting it and making a way for themselves, they don't want to hear about why you can't do it, because if they can overcome what they had to overcome, that's their life. You can overcome your life. It's a choice that you make. It's not okay, bro. It's not okay. I just get so tired of hearing this soft ass shit and people making excuses to why they can't put forth effort. Man, bro, it's a lot of y'all, bro. Y'all ain't never been homeless. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't never been put out the house. You ain't never had to sleep in your car. You ain't never had to sleep on a cot in a goddamn homeless shelter. You know what I'm saying? That's not even a real building. It was just built up as an extra leg to the building. So you really sleeping outside. You ain't never had to do that, bro. So you to sit around and talk about not being able to do nothing because of the system and the economy. Number one, get off the internet, get off your phone. What they're telling you are lies. Talking about there's no jobs out here, it's a lie. It's a lie. It's a fucking lie. I'm telling you right now, it's a goddamn lie. If you want to get a fucking job, if you have some type of experience, if you're a hard worker and you can speak, you can talk, like use actual words and not say, you know what I'm saying, and say all these internet words and making up words with your own definition. If you can actually speak the English language and you have some type of self-control, you can find a job. If you have a high school degree, you know what I'm saying? I be hearing y'all talk about, y'all always think something is an equation. Oh, I got this degree and this, that, and the third, and I can't find no job. Because you ain't got no skills. You just got your degree. You thought having a degree was going to get you right through the door. You didn't, man. Y'all gotta stop, man. Y'all gotta stop making these excuses, man. Y'all got degrees. Your parents done gave you this, that, and the third, and you still got a reason to why you can't do nothing, bro. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Just say that you want a soft life. Say you want a soft life. Say you don't want to do shit. Say you want passive income that don't fucking exist. You gotta you gotta build up something to get to a point of passive. Come on, man. Come on, man. You gotta get real with this life, bro. You have to get real. You have to be realistic. You have to plan things out, bro. We gotta get better with our money, bro. And if we don't, it's nobody's fault but ourselves, bro. And another thing, bro. Hold your motherfucking L. You have to hold your L, bro. And what I mean when I talk about hold your L, you mess the money up. Mess the money up. If you mess it up, deal with it. Sit there and be broke. Stop with these credit cards and all this stuff, man. Sit there and be broke, bro. Deal with it. Suffer the consequences of your actions so that once the money come back, because it's a lot of y'all, it's not a lot of y'all, but a lot of people, it's not that they broke, it's that they spending problem is out of control. And they use the excuse of not being taught how to be financially literate as an excuse to just spend. And then they talk about living their best life. That's not living your best life maxing credit cards out just to look a certain way. It's not living your best life getting payday loans on weed. Y'all are crazy. A payday loan on weed is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But, bro, you got to get real with yourself. Get real with life. Get real with what you want to do and where you want to go and how you're going to get there. Because if you don't get real, you're going to be going to be like these mentally ill adults out here that range from the age of 100 down to 20 that's mad at the world and mad at people that are successful because deep down they know that they haven't done what these people have done. They've not pushed themselves the way that these people have pushed themselves. And instead of putting the onus on them, that, oh, I just thought that I was going to stay at this one job and become rich. I just thought that I was supposed to stay at one job, one position, and become financially free. Oh, it used to be that, oh, you used to be able to pay this and this and be single and still be able to live a good life. That's not what it is. Y'all done fell into this trap. Y'all are selfish. You're not dateable. You can't, you know what I'm saying? Nobody wants you because you're selfish and you think the world revolves around you, and now you can't pay nothing. And now you mad at people that are successful and in relationships and loving people, and you try to make it seem like they're like relationships aren't, they're not, good men don't exist, good women don't exist. No, it's you. It's you. You're a shitty person. You're a shitty person. Nobody don't want to be around you. And now you broke because you thought you were gonna be able to do this all by yourself. Hey man, get real with life. If you don't get real, you're gonna have to deal with it. And I see that a lot of y'all are dealing with it, and that's why y'all be mad at the world. I don't want to be mad at the world. I don't want you to be mad at the world who's watching this. So do what you have to do in life, man. You gotta cut off certain things, you gotta cut off certain people. Do that, bro. And do it quick. Once you get these inklings in your mind, do it fast and do it fully. Don't do it halfway, because if you try to do what you want to do, when you do that, you're gonna force yourself to have to do things you don't want to do. That's all I have to say. I need to go get a haircut. Yeah.